So the steps that we followed here was, number one, label your HOA. Number two, choose your ratio. Then number three, solve for the unknown. Actually, we do substitution. Okay, so substitution. And last one would be solve. So solve for the unknown. Find X or find Y, whatever you're looking for. Right? You'll notice these are different work. These are the only two questions I can ask. That's it for now and the rest of the week. We're not doing anything different. It's either the first one, unknown on top, or the second one, unknown on the bottom. You did 6 of these yesterday. You're going to do 6 today, 6 the next day, and 6 the day after. That's all we're doing, nothing new. Got to be an expert at this. Okay? Just going to be doing in different scenarios. Any questions? Anything you're not sure about? I hope your work looks exactly like mine. I was looking at some people taking notes in the other block, and they're missing stuff. Like they don't have equal signs. Who doesn't write an equal sign? That's like missing words in a sentence. So instead of saying the dog jumped over the fence, you say the dog fence. Doesn't make sense. The dog fence doesn't make sense. Yeah, you guys think it's okay with math. We're writing stuff down differently. It doesn't make sense then. So you should be writing this down exactly as I'm writing it down. Okay. Any other questions? Yes. Yesterday we did assignment 6. Again, every time you're doing trigonometry, you should write down SOHCAHTOA. So you can quickly look at it to help you choose the proper triangles, so the proper ratios to use for your triangle. Okay? Moving on down then, we're into page 25. Page 25. So what we're looking at now, one step further, is we're going to have to label the triangle sometimes with the angle. We'll have to write it in the right location. And there's 2 locations. There's elevation and depression. With depression, when people are sad and they're depressed, what does their body language look like? What happens when they're sad, depressed? They're usually looking where? Down, right? So with depression, you're looking down. But when you're happy and you're excited and things are going your way, you're looking the other direction. When you're elevated and happy, you're looking up. And so that's important to know whether you're looking down or looking up, talking about angle of depression, angle of elevation. So you can see right here, this is a horizontal. It is left to right, just a straight line that's horizontal. Okay, and it's like usually connected to a line of sight. And it's a dashed line to show that it's an imaginary line. So then you can draw a line of sight, and again, it's dashed because you're not really connected to the plane. It's your line of sight. It's imaginary. And this is the angle of elevation because you're looking up from the horizon. And this angle down below, from your line of sight, you're looking down. Again, to the ship, this line, it's dashed. That's because it's your line of sight. It's imaginary. Okay. From here, you can create several triangles. So you can create this triangle right here that goes straight down the cliff to the boat and then back up. You can also create this triangle, and this, your angle of depression is outside your triangle, so to get inside your triangle, you're going to take 90 degrees and you're going to minus the angle that's given. That will equal the angle inside your triangle. Okay. You can also use what we call our mirror triangle. So you can also use this triangle with your line of sight, straight down, and then back up. If you use that triangle, then your angle is given right here. Okay, the angle of depression is in that triangle. Keep in mind that you can do the same thing up top. So you can have a triangle that goes up to the height of the plane, over and down the line of sight. Or you can have a triangle that goes up the line of sight to the plane, then down and then along the horizon. Okay, so you have near triangles, or you have to do subtractions if you're not working within that near triangle. So let's investigate further about what I mean by that. Okay. So looking right here, the angle of depression is 55 degrees. Okay. You can work in this triangle then to figure out, whoops, it didn't line up. Here we go. 55 degrees is in that triangle. You can work within that triangle, or you'd have to do a subtraction to work in the blue triangle. And I'll show you they're exactly the same. Whoopsies, straight lines are not my forte today. That's straight, sure, that looks straight too. So, do you guys want to do the mirror triangle first, or do you want to do the blue triangle? Mirror? So let's work in the mirror triangle. With this triangle right here, all right, label your HOA. Now I'm going to use red. So this would be my hypotenuse. According to the angle of elevation, this is the opposite side, and this is the adjacent side. Now the tricky part is, when you're working in the mirror triangle, you only have 55 degrees and 200. There's nothing else there. But what you have to understand is that X on the bottom is from the yellow line to this red line. Notice it's the same at the top. That's the trick. You have to put this X dimension on the top. Okay, so you will always have to do something in order to do these questions. So now we're trying to find X. We have the adjacent side. Okay, we have the adjacent side we're trying to find, and the length of H. Which ratio has adjacent and H? Have a look. Turn it over. What is it? Cosine. So we're going to use the cosine. Okay. So I'm going to write at the bottom here below, cos theta equals A over H. And then you can fill in the blanks. Cos blank equals blank over blank. What should go in there for theta? 55 degrees. Write that in there. A is X and H is 200. Okay, so then we'll go and solve. Instead of dividing by 200, we bring it up and multiply. So cos 55 degrees times 200 equals X. If you want to make it into the decimals, you can. Go ahead. If you want to go and multiply, then you just go and multiply. So for me, I'll go 55 cos 0.5735, and then I'll simply go times 200. And I get 114.7. 0.71, which rounds to 114.7. Okay. So I'll show you that you can also work in the regular triangle as well. You guys okay with my work? I didn't write the decimals, but if you guys want me to write the decimals, I can. No? Okay. But you're welcome to do another line here with the decimals. You totally are. I got nothing wrong with that. I'm just being super lazy this afternoon. I can pretend I'm a Bateman student. That's a joke. Okay. Then let's label your HOA. I'm going to use blue writing now, working the blue triangle. Label your HOA in the blue triangle. So it's kind of nice. They share H's, don't they? H is the same. H is 200 for red and 200 for blue. But this time, we're trying to find the opposite side. So what ratio talks about O and H. No, TOA is O and E. SOHCAHTOA. Sine. Okay, so we start by saying sine theta equals O over H. Then you substitute in. Uh-oh, I guess we have to find theta first, don't we? So theta and 55 add up to 90 degrees. So to find theta, you would take 90 degrees minus 55 degrees. That equals 35 degrees. Okay, so theta equals 35 degrees. So then you substitute that in. 35 degrees equals the opposite side, x over h, which is 200. Okay. So we have a different ratio and a different angle. Go ahead, do the opposite of divide by 200, bring it up and multiply by 200. Okay, so the first thing is to get the decimal, sine 35, and then you times it by 200. And you get 114.71, which is pretty good because it's the exact same answer as the other one. So I know I did it properly. Okay, so you are going to have to do some work. Either you have to write x from the bottom to the top, or you'll have to do a subtraction to find the angle. You got to do a little bit of figuring with these ones. Yeah, always. Unless you made a mistake, then you won't. So, no, only one, Sam. I just wanted to show you that it does work out. Yeah, you only need to do one way. Good questions. Any others? Okay, I'm going to help you and show you with your homework a little bit. This one here, you have to figure out which angle is the angle of elevation. Okay. Number 2, you have to write the angle of elevation in and then do your calculations. So it's a little bit more work. Here, number 3, the name is BAC. So you write down angle BAC. You can write that down. I'll never test that. Okay. And so what's the measure of the angle of depression? You'd have to do a subtraction. Oh, sorry, I'm screwing this up. Delete, delete, delete. Okay. The angle of depression is here, Mr. Barker. Boo. So its name is DAC. DAC. In order to get its measure, you would have to do a subtraction. 90 minus. Okay. Okay, here, find the unknown lengths. So you have to decide what you want to do, mere triangles or subtraction. Number 4, draw the diagram, please. Okay. Draw your diagram. I'll give you all the diagrams. Okay, I will. So number 4, draw this up. Looking at the angle of elevation. Okay, flagpoles are straight up and down. Shadows are on the ground. Number 5, there's the building. That's the height of the building. Okay, the dashed blue line, that's your horizon. Imaginary line, just your horizon. Okay, and there's 6. It's a pole straight up and down like a power pole. There's 12 degrees in X. No, 4, 5. Any questions? Last one. Okay, so you got the ramp. X is the ramp. Height is 1.5, 22 degrees is the angle in the bottom. Okay, you want to figure out how long is the ramp. So you're doing these 7 questions. The first couple are pretty easy, and then you start getting back into trig. Remember, I can only ask 2 questions. So have your warm-up out, because I can either ask the first one or the second one. Unknown on top or unknown on the bottom. Okay, that's it. Any questions? Pitter patter, get at her. You got 45 minutes. Ask. If you're stuck at all, ask. Sometimes just a little detail that you're missing, and we can set you on your path, and you can start working again right away.